I may or may not have a working colleague recently who constantly wears Panerai. Those of you, if you know, you know. He's an asshole as well. Big asshole. Very sales guy. Very salesy as well. So, unfortunately, as much as I want to label it a stereotype, Panerai is a brand that I dislike. I will never wear Panerai. Hi all, welcome back to Watch Jelly. So my name is Alvin. So today we've invited Wayne back again. So today we're going to be talking about a sort of a new format, which is going to be quite fun, I think. I think Wayne and I, we both agree that we love bantering. So this is sort of a new format where we're going to talk about an interesting topic at hand in a sort of a podcast video format. So I think today's topic will be particularly interesting because we both have some views about this. Pretty fun sharing our views for the first time in a sort of open conversation type of format. So here goes. So I think the key thing that we're going to talk about is do wearers of certain watches like Rolex, Hublot, Panerai, are these guys assholes or douchebags? I think there's no mincing words around this topic because I think you imagine a Venn diagram where there's watch lover, asshole, there's some overlap somewhere, and this overlap can be quite big sometimes depending on who you're talking about. So so we're gonna dive into this topic proper. So welcome back, Wayne. You're our second. You're the first person who's coming back again. Our second return guest.
Okay.
So
what an honor.
what an honor, bro. So we're at Wayne's place again today. Maybe let's start with a wristwatch check to keep things casual. So what are you wearing today, Wayne?
Oh, the Snowflake. It's the one I talked about the last time I was on. So the watch I've been looking at for years and finally managed to get it last year. And it's kind of a daily wearer. I think it fits many occasions. So This is kind of what I fall back on when I need something to wear.
I know. I see you often wearing this at work at the very big events. Let's put it that way. So I know it's something that you go to. So I'm a bit shy to say this. I'm wearing my rose gold Daytona, the 116505 black dial. I seldom wear this, so I think today, since we're on the topic on douchebags and assholes, it makes sense to put it out.
That fits the bill.
Yeah, fits the bill. I know. Maybe generally I fit the bill of an asshole or a watch snob. You know, this sort of thing. So okay, let's sort of bring on the topic proper. So maybe in your perception, how is someone, or when is someone considered a sort of a watch snob, asshole, or douchebag in your own words?
Well, I've started getting into this world just in the past, I would say 1 to 2 years. So relatively new to this whole scene, like a lot of people who discovered, their love for watches during the pandemic, But in terms of sort of what constitutes, the kind of individual that might come across as, a snob or, as you would call it, an asshole. It's when they have, very strong views about what's good and what's bad in the watch world. And they kind of have strong views about other individuals who are in the watch world. They look down on them. They think, they don't understand watches. They feel like there is a certain set of views about watches that should be pretty universal.
So what can you expand upon that? So for example, would you say someone like someone who is who says, oh, I wear Rolex, therefore I'm someone, or someone who's like, dude, I wear Rolex, you're wearing some no-name brand, therefore
this is just a Seiko, right? Like, what is this, right?
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of both, where people kind of make their watches a big part of their personality, of how they present themselves to people, and the watch is wearing you rather than the other way around.
Shit, that's nice.
So I feel like that is a situation where, that kind of individual is probably not so pleasant to be around.
Why do I feel so attacked? Why do I feel attacked?
I'm not attacking you.
Hold on. This is me being self-deprecating. I hope I'm not guilty of that. I hope, at least not the vibes that I give off. Yeah, I think for me as well. Please feel free to chime in, jump in anytime. I think watch snobs. I think, as far as I'm concerned, watch snobs are the biggest assholes that I have personally come across. I've also seen people who, I think in terms of the more abrasive, in your face, oh, I'm wearing something, that costs 6 figures, and you're wearing a, I don't know, a G-Shock, all metal G-Shock, and then therefore I have the right to diss you in your face. I don't think I've come across that so much. Maybe keyboard warriors, I've maybe just a bit of that in online. But I think for the most part, it's more of the watch snobs. I think watch snobs have, because of how prevalent knowledge has sort of so much information available online. People read into certain things, and therefore once you clock, people think that they clock X amount of hours, and therefore they feel that certain things are better than, certain things are lesser than, and therefore they become snobs. And then when the snobbery becomes, it crosses a line basically, then that's where you form quote unquote the asshole douchebag persona.
I think that's something which we've definitely seen given the proliferation of information. And by the way, the all-metal G-Shock is pretty cool. Yeah. So nothing against it. I love it.
I agree.
It's a very cool watch.
Yeah, I have one as well. I should have waited to get the titanium one. The titanium one is great, but it costs like $2,000 or something. So that's annoying.
But that's kind of the message here, right? That you don't want to gatekeep this hobby.
Right.
You don't want to go out there and tell people that, oh, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Like, I think this is a hobby which is actually available at all price points.
Yep.
For all types of people to get into. And it's a journey for people to discover. They start off with something,
right.
They discover something else that they like, they refine their taste over time.
Right.
So again, these individuals who, online or in person,
right.
Act snobbish about these watches, that's not good for the community as a whole.
Right.
And that actually lends this whole community a bad name to some extent.
Have you come across any snobs yourself, or assholes in particular? Anyone that comes to mind, that springs to mind, even if it's just in passing? So someone walking by, you pass by in a busy area in, let's say, some other country, or even at work, or even on the street, generally speaking. Have you come across or someone who have given you reason to pause and say, this guy's an asshole?
Well, I feel like it stems less from the watch itself, but more just from the person. I think it comes more from the personality.
Exactly.
A certain type of person tends to be like that, and then the watch kind of amplifies it. So what they wear kind of amplifies their personality in a negative way, and that kind of channels that energy. So I have bumped into some people, again, not anyone that I know in particular.
Right.
Just when you're hanging out, friends of friends, people come in to meet to
right.
gatherings, drinks, dinner, whatever, and you see some of these individuals, they are that type of personality.
Okay.
And then they show up, they talk about their watch, you can see the watch because usually you can see it from pretty far away.
Right.
That's what these individuals tend to wear.
Yeah.
And when you see it, they'll make sure that you pay attention to it. They'll talk about it, and again, that is a sign, right, that you probably don't want to engage too much with this person.
I think I know what you mean. So moving back to our the previous time that we had a one-on-one was comparing Singapore and Hong Kong. Would you say this is a bit more prevalent in Hong Kong than in Singapore? I think it's a valid question to ask, not to diss any particular city, Singapore or Hong Kong, but I find that, given the fact that we talked about, I don't know, this is my perception. I'm going to probably get a bit of shit for it. I don't quite care. I think Hong Kong, I've seen a bit more. Is it the materialism is a bit more pronounced? I'm talking relative terms, yeah. So just don't get your nappies in the twist there. It's more pronounced. People are just a bit flashier. Just I think mainland, it's the mainland itself, and then mainland China itself, and probably Hong Kong. It's sort of similar in the sense that they're more flashy with how they dress, and they feel like wearing certain things that are very in your face, maybe borderline ostentatious, just to show that I have the means / I have achieved and attained a certain level of wealth. Would you say that's the case?
I would agree with that. It's having obviously lived there and worked there. It's a place where displays of wealth is more normalized.
Right.
There is a lot more, I would say, new money,
right,
kind of in and all around you in the cities. So in general, those displays of wealth tends to be a bit more flashy, a bit more showy. Versus in Singapore, I feel like there's this general sense that ostentatious displays of wealth is frowned upon.
Yep.
I think by the public. There's a lot more of that stealth wealth. That's all the rage these days. Stealth wealth. That's kind of more how things are done over here. So you do feel a difference I wouldn't say it's a massive difference, but you do feel it if you visit either of these places. You feel like in Hong Kong, you'll see a lot more in your face,
Right.
and in Singapore, it's a lot more toned down.
So basically, in Hong Kong, you see more of this
Yes.
and less of this.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
agree.
So we're just trying to play the yin and yang of it all. Yeah. But that said, I think no, that's an interesting point. I think stealth wealth. Yeah, I think naturally people in Hong Kong, maybe the ultra rich in Hong Kong probably is a bit richer than say the ultra rich in Singapore. I would say, but generally speaking, I would say based on based on my job. In my previous role, I have come across I do handle rich clients who are, pretty well to do, or up to their net worth is in like the nine figures, and I would say that the folks who have wealth in the nine figures who have had the chance to meet, based in Southeast Asia, largely Singapore, a lot more toned down. And this is coming from personal experience, so it's a real thing. I have a job, by the way, guys. I'm not unemployed and doing this full
No,
time.
this is not your job.
It's a passion project.
Not yet.
Oh God, you're getting me in trouble. So I would say folks are more toned down. I'm working in Hong Kong now, and just given the short time that I've seen several clients, I wouldn't say from where, but I would say clients over there, and those type of clients that occasionally sprout out in Singapore. They like to wear their Dior's. They like to wear their this. And I think sooner or later, watches will become a thing as well, where people display the levels of wealth, because there are levels to this, right?
Yeah, I think it's already happening to some extent, which is kind of interesting given if you read maybe media and social media, this whole stealth wealth movement seems to be gathering pace.
But this is in the West.
This is in the West, yes.
Right.
Whereas over here, I don't feel like that has really taken off or kind of
When you say over here, you mean Singapore?
in Asia,
In Asia.
in general, and obviously in places like Singapore, Hong Kong, or the mainland, there's still this kind of you see a lot of logos.
Yeah, I
when
see a
you go
lot.
out, you see a lot of logos.
Correct. Yeah, sorry, this is the only logo I have on. Anyway, yeah, so I think, I think a lot of my friends growing up as well, some of them, really well to do, but apart from, let's say, a handbag, I would say they're generally pretty toned down. So I don't know. So feel free to comment in the section below if you think that people in Southeast Asia are more toned down, or maybe particularly in Singapore, more toned down, and versus, let's say, parts of China or Hong Kong itself. Do add in the comments and let us know what you think. So moving. Okay, so I think this is interesting because I always found that watches is always a bit of a thing, right? I mean, I don't know. I find myself enjoying a swatch, a pink swatch that costs $80 as much as this gold Daytona. I don't know if it's because I mean, I'm a watch enthusiast myself, so I don't really care about the watch that I put on. It's just whatever feels like the mood.
Yes.
Would you say, suppose in if you collect more, would you say this is also something that you do in the future? I don't know.
Yeah. I think enjoyment can be derived from watches at any part of the price point.
Right.
Across brands, even within brands, different lines
Right.
within the brand, different models. I think there's something out there for everyone.
Right.
And it's probably not a great practice to, judge somebody based on what they're wearing, to impose your views on what is good and what is
Right.
not on someone else. So I think, again, this kind of goes back to the original question.
Right.
Are these people assholes, right? Like,
Yeah.
wearing that watch doesn't make you an asshole from the get-go. It's when, you think you're better than everyone else because you're wearing that watch.
Yeah.
That makes you an asshole. So, obviously, it's kind of a journey when you're talking to, people who are new to this, sharing your views, sharing
Right.
opinions, sharing tastes to try to eventually everyone get to where they want to be in terms of what they enjoy, in terms of having a very individual and refined taste
Right.
for themselves.
Right.
So I think that's just a healthier way to approach the hobby.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's the person and the mindset. It's sort of wearing a certain watch will amplify your personality further, right? So, would you say then let's look a bit deeper into, let's say, watch brands.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think a few brands that we talk about, I think that generally somehow, I don't know, evokes a kind of I would say that the kind of a persona or perception is So a few brands, right? Rolex, Richard Mille, Panerai. Panerai, that's personal for me. I want to bring Panerai up. And then Hublot as well. So, and any thoughts on this brand personally, or I can start. I can start as well. Any
Well, I
thoughts?
mean, since you have a beef against Panerai, let's hear about that.
Okay, so Panerai. Okay, this is a real story, true story, guys. I don't fabricate shit. Okay, this is a real story. So when I was younger, so this is Singapore is sort of a financial hub. It is. I mean, it is a financial hub. So when I was younger in my middle school to high school days, I was invited by someone invited my dad to a corporate event. It's a banking corporate event, and then it was a movie event. Just very simple, right? So quote unquote financial institution. Yeah, okay, it's a local bank in Singapore. Back in the day when they had to expense, let's say Harry Potter movies or of the sort, Lord of the Rings, on the weekend. So this is a Saturday, let's say afternoon or lunchtime. So said salesperson from said Singapore bank, who is client facing in the institutional side, trading and sales side. So this guy is a sales guy. He was probably in his late 30s. So this guy, let me give you some context. This guy married a rich wife. So very well-to-do wife. In-laws paid for a condo in a very exclusive district in Singapore. Robertson Quay. I'm just going to name drop that. This was probably, I would say, mid-2000s, late 2000s. So this guy famously wears Panerai. Famously meaning to say every time I see him, he wears Panerai. Is that annoying? And then you can tell that the way that he talks, very salesy type of guy. I hate salesy guys. I hate. Okay. And this happens more than once. So salesy guys, very. Half of the shit that they say is perfunctory. It's unnecessary. It's just said for the sake of being said. So and it's just a waste of, I guess, oxygen. And this guy on this particular corporate movie event, wore a polo shirt with Porsche all around it. Porsche. The car brand Porsche.
I know what brand he likes.
Yeah, and it's clear what it's like as though he's trying to make me guess what car he drives. And to me, this just felt disgusting. I don't know. This just felt a bit too. Not a bit too much. Too much. Where's Panerai? Where's that? He sells the shit out of the entire event, that 45 minutes before we entered into the movie. And I was watching this guy as a 16, 17-year-old. Not that I'm trying to give credit to my parents, but I think thankfully my parents raised me in a certain way whereby I do not look to people like that as inspiration, or take someone like that as an example when I grow up. So thankfully, hopefully I will not become that person. I will never become that person. But that is just an example as a 15, 16-year-old when you're still impressionable. And then you see someone like this, seemingly in a position of power or influence. It's like the center of attention. So many clients bring them to an event wearing a fucking Panerai. I hated it. I hated it. So for me, that was my start. My journey into starting to dislike Panerai as a brand.
Right.
And then let's just say that I may or may not have a working colleague recently who constantly wears Panerai. Those of you, if you know, you know. He's an asshole as well. Big asshole. Very sales guy. Very salesy as well. So, unfortunately, as much as I want to label it a stereotype, Panerai is a brand that I dislike. I will never wear Panerai because of this. So what do you think?
I think certain brands with kind of branding is important.
Right.
And these brands, they try to go for a certain story, a certain kind of image that you're trying to sell.
Right.
Because it is, at the end of the day, a big part of marketing
Right.
the brand. And, I think a certain type of marketing tends to attract certain types of people.
Yeah.
It tends to resonate with certain types of personalities.
Right.
So, these stereotypes, they're called stereotypes, but they are based in truth in some way. So it's totally, I would say it's fair to say that, you form impressions or stereotypes of people based on what they wear, and oftentimes the story corroborates the personality and the marketing of the brand. Yeah. It corroborates. So it's an interesting story that you shared there. again, I think there are certain people, in certain roles, certain types of jobs, they feel like this type of things signify, a certain level of success.
Right.
What car you drive, what clothes you wear, what watch you wear. And maybe to certain segments of the population, that does matter. They look at what someone drives, they look at what someone's wearing on their wrist, and they be like, well, I can perhaps trust this person, or I could perhaps think this person is reliable simply because they have attained a level of material success, which is visible. So it helps them in their job in some way.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that's necessarily entirely wrong. Maybe it helps your job, it helps your career in some way, especially for something where you're selling.
Right.
When you're selling something. But then again, just personally, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, I think that's not the message you want to inculcate. I think there's always a level of taste. Yeah, you don't want to be distasteful at the end of the day. Number one, and number two, I suppose. Again, maybe to be a bit more introspective. Also, is if you reach a level of success, whether you are there or you're on the cusp of, I would strongly suggest we keep a level head and not be an asshole. That sort of thing. Wearing Porsche shirts all over, or going around making stupid, sarcastic jokes that aren't funny. You know who I'm talking about.
I know what the
being
reference is.
extremely superficial. If you don't want that shit, I think let's all strive to be sincere people, earnest people, and be good people at the end of the day, right? Okay, that took a serious turn for a bit.
Yeah, I kind of bring it back.
Yeah.
Right? About some of these other brands, obviously the elephant in the room,
Right.
what you have on the wrist.
Oh shit.
Rolex, it's difficult to form an opinion. I think because it's such a it's a prevalent brand. You
Right.
see it everywhere, and it has a lot of lines. So they at very different price points for very different purposes. So it's difficult to form a kind of a general opinion about a Rolex wearer.
Right.
It comes down to what are they wearing, what is the color,
Right.
what is the material.
Yeah.
In all of these things,
Right.
they tell you very different things about the individual wearing the watch. So it's hard to kind of say, if a Rolex wearer is an asshole.
Yeah.
Maybe you can say that a rose gold Daytona wearer is an asshole.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or maybe someone who's wearing the plainest, Oyster Perpetual,
Yeah.
at the entry level.
Thank-
Like, is that person an asshole? I don't know.
Thanks for that, Wade. I appreciate you.
Yeah, or if you wear one of those, those ones with the jewels, with the diamonds, with all of that.
Yeah.
Which I think only looks good on the
The
wrist.
the
of
rainbow
a,
Daytona.
the rainbow
Yeah,
Daytona.
rainbow Daytona.
In my opinion, which only looks good on the wrist of a multi-millionaire rapper
right.
in a music video.
Are rappers assholes then? What do you think?
Well, they certainly come across like that in their music.
Of course, douchey, right?
In their music, I guess it's part of what they're selling.
Right.
But I don't know. I've never met one in person.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe we'll find out in the future.
Yeah. So on a bit of a more serious note, so Rolex makes about 900,000 to 1 million watches a year. So it's hard to say every year, assuming all these watches get bought. Every year, there are 900,000 new assholes. I'm not sure that's entirely possible. I would say, I think Rolex has maintained their brand image quite well. Roger Federer, is he an asshole? I doubt it.
No way.
He wouldn't be the ambassador for Rolex if he was. Or your film directors, your James Cameron, are they assholes? I don't know them. But at least from a marketing standpoint, they don't seem to be. But then again, then you have your assholes who are, quote unquote, John Mayer has been labeled one. Ellen DeGeneres has been labeled one, especially. That's why she got cancelled. I'm not sure if you know the story of Ellen DeGeneres. She's a famous vintage Rolex collector. Famous.
I did not know that about her.
Yeah. She collects Pateks as well. So she, if you watch her old videos, you can see her wearing a Paul Newman back in the day. Like I'm talking before Paul Newman did. The Paul Newman Daytona was the Paul Newman Daytona.
there's
That's like
something
10
new
years
today.
ago. So.
Wow.
So Ellen DeGeneres is one, allegedly. I don't know her. So yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, as you said, the watch. I think the key point that it boils down to is really the watches sort of pronounces your personality even more. So I guess when we wear something nice, I guess if you can call this nice, then it's it's the onus is on me to not be an asshole,
Yes.
or just generally not be an asshole.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, in general.
And don't let the watch wear you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Don't let that define your personality.
Yeah.
You wear the watch. You wear the watch that best represents yourself and your personality, and something that at the end of the day you have to enjoy. I think that's the most important thing.
Okay, so maybe to round off, so thanks Wayne for coming on again. So what would you say? Suppose what is something that you say in these few brands or some of the hype brands that you find that is teetering on, something very flashy that you could be perceived as an asshole, but clearly you're not. What is a watch that you would buy? That is flashy enough that maybe someone may misconstrue that, whoa, this guy's wearing this, or basically a watch that you want.
And I want out of all these brands. Well,
Yeah.
I would regret the day where I come to find a Hublot or Richard Mille attractive. I would curse that day. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Really? Okay.
Probably not, but obviously in Rolex, and no Panerais for me either. but in the world of Rolex, it's such a wide and varied world in terms of what they produce, and I have found myself gravitating to the GMT Master 2. I really enjoy that. I love the GMT function. It's probably my favorite complication on a watch because it's the most practical in my view.
Right.
So I find myself gravitating towards that. The Daytona, certain models, certain references. The Daytona.
Not the Eye of the Tiger.
Not the Eye of the Tiger. No, not the Eye of the Tiger. Something a bit more low key, but it's at the end of the day, still the Daytona is an icon of watches, and I think those references, certain bracelets, certain colors, I think those I would gravitate towards.
Yeah.
And
Since you like the GMT function so much, maybe I guess give you one suggestion. Go look at I think probably you've come across this, at the Patek Philippe Aquanaut travel time, the 5164. One of my favorite. I would say within the Aquanaut line is my favorite, I think, or one of my favorites. Purely because they tell you the travel time and the home time. They tell you the away time and the home time. They're the 2 hour hands where you can adjust at a press of a pusher.
Mm-hmm.
So really nice piece. Anyone wants to sell me or want to gift me, because you appreciate our content so much, you want to gift me an Aquanaut 5164, I'll take it. You want to gift me a product for the Aquanaut Advanced Research, the blue one, I'll take it as well. So anyone watching, happy to be a watch sugar baby. Yeah?
He's bringing us a really good content.
Yeah.
So let's let him know your love.
Yeah. So definitely do share in the comments what type of brands or perception of brands or people that you come across wearing certain type of brands that has rubbed you the wrong way. Made you think, what a douchey person. Therefore, and then it sort of formed a shall we say, an unfortunate stereotype of the watch. Let us know in the comments below. Or if you think that I'm being a bit of an ass today or a bit douchey today, let me know as well. I'll maybe take it into consideration. So
no way Hovin's a douchebag.
Come
He's
on.
the nicest guy ever.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you for the comment. So great. So this is literally the first part of this conversational series. I think this is very fun to do. Happy to, if anyone watching, if you feel that you're up for this, and if I don't deem you an asshole or douchebag, maybe you can come on. So and I think Wayne and I might be in the works to do something, another topic on this, where we have a topic and then we'll discuss in depth something to do with hip hop. Yeah, let's put it that way.
Our favorite genre of music.
Yeah, of my second favorite genre of music. Your favorite.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, my second favorite, but which is a hell of a thing because I listen to a lot of music. So so thank you all for tuning in today. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are Watch Jelly. I'm Watch Jelly. He's Wayne. WW. Don't forget to keep watching Jelly, guys. Thanks. Cheers. Bye.